as Conor McGregor cruises the streets of Cali, contemplating his next move. I already figured it out for him. He needs to finish up that trilogy that he keeps running away from. Literally. What's up, everybody? My name is Jesse, and I'm the founder and grandmaster of MMA, Mexican martial arts. I know what you're thinking. Why are you making this video right now? Right after the broken leg? Just leave that fool alone for a little bit. I had already been working on this video before the Poirier fight. I can't just scrap it now. I'm trying to get those rounds in. Plus, it makes more sense to talk about this fight and a trilogy instead of Poirier and McGregor Part 4 because you can't sell that anymore. Everybody knows who's gonna win every single time. And Poirier wants that strap. With Diaz and McGregor, right there you got two fools that can't win fights anymore, but people will still buy that one.
Give me two.
Today's comment question: who will win the trilogy match between Conor McGregor and Nate Diaz?
That's a stupid question, dude.
After Conor McGregor was exposed at UFC 196, Nate Diaz agreed to give that fool another red panty night. Oh, that's right. You see a lot of people get it twisted, and they think that it was Conor that was giving Nate the red panty night. But when you look at it closely, you'll see that it was actually McGregor who was wearing the red panties. Caught that fool slipping. That fool was out there repping the red panties like the Zodiac. It's like he wanted to get caught. I was able to crack that code, homie. Because of the, yeah, I forgot to talk about this in the first video, and it kept me up at night. Do you have to go pee again? No. Then what's bothering you? I forgot to talk about McGregor's red panties. You can't sleep because you're thinking about McGregor's panties? No. Well, yeah, but not like that. Well, he'll probably still have them in the morning. Go to sleep. I'm just gonna have to make another video. Another video? It's always another video. Where are you going? Well, no, I have to go pee. I was inefficient with my energy. That's on me. But today, I come correct. Even after McGregor's humiliating loss to Diaz, he still hadn't learned a thing about respect. He didn't respect Dana. He didn't respect Nate.
Once again, Conor McGregor is not here.
It's rude.
And worst of all, he didn't even respect David Copperfield.
He has to start respecting people's time, man. Mine, theirs, David Copperfield's, everybody's.
Well, he actually showed a lack of respect for himself by falsely claiming that Nate was too big. Nate's not even a real welterweight. He fought at lightweight way more.
I fought 155 pounds in my whole career, so.
The only reason he could even make welterweight is because vegans eat too much bread. You gotta remember that vegans must not live by bread alone, because that they also have soy. But then that fool's gonna be a soy boy. But Nate wasn't even tripping about it because he understands the game.
I don't know how all of a sudden became this monstrous heavyweight against Conor McGregor. Just because I want to fight.
But like always, Conor was taking everything that Nate had worked for, and all they cared about was Conor being late.
Dana, if Conor doesn't show up to this press conference, will there be any repercussions?
He's showing up. He's en route.
Very good.
In his defense, he was only late because he was trying to find a smaller shirt. Well, he had to settle for a medium, but Nate wasn't willing to make up for that time that Conor had wasted. So he dipped. And they started doing that bottle challenge before it was cool. They were doing it before it made Sensei Seth a viral sensation. Sensational Sensei Seth. Most people's takeaway from this is McGregor's hilarious throwing form, which predated his Dallas Cowboys incident, and which proves to us that McGregor does not improve over time in any aspect of life.
Your wife is in me DMs, hey baby!
But my takeaway was that he was crazy enough to take Glover's can. Imagine what Glover would do to that fool. I mean, he didn't do it to Rumble, but he would do it to McGregor. Conor's always in enough trouble as it is for touching people's cans without their consent. And now he's pulling this, and then he has to go and get racial.
He's a big, slow Mexican. Beanbag.
You could have called him a punching bag. You could have called him a training dummy. But you went full bean. Never go full bean. But what's even more interesting to me is the Dylan Dennis conundrum. Conor was landing leg kicks early, and they were starting to take effect, which led to Nate deciding to pull guard. But Conor didn't want none. It's always Dylan Dennis this and Dylan Dennis that.
He's got the mindset. He's got my mindset. He's like a protege.
But then when it was go time, he said, Chale. Clearly it was nothing but photo ops. They say that a picture is worth 1,000 words. And Conor was hoping that those words will say that he's really good at BJJ. But if a picture's worth 1,000 words, then a video's worth at least like 1,500. And this video was telling me that Conor didn't even want to fight at all. I understand that martial arts training will tell you to walk away from a fight and whatnot, but that probably doesn't apply when you're on the pay-per-view, homie. But when Conor did fight, I have to admit that they always seem to be a step behind. And then he made the mistake of trying to step through Big John McCartney. It was like when you try to go to a part on the map that you haven't unlocked yet. So they realized that he needed to step his game up. And he decided to pull guard again. Well, he was learning that he was gonna have to jump into it if he really wanted to get it, because McGregor wasn't that confident working inside the guard yet. That Dylan Dennis had barely showed him how to do that one move, like when my dog has worms. On top of that, Conor was already winded and breathing through his mouth.
Conor's still breathing heavy, Mike.
To be fair, I am also a mouth breather. It's obviously more efficient. You get a lot more air. Like, think of the circumference of your two nose holes and then of your mouth hole. But even though McGregor is taking in all of this additional air, when they pulls guard again, Conor still wants to let him up. The level of disrespect for Dennis is unavoidable. But Conor is simply more comfortable when he's throwing those hands. What was uncomfortable for him was when he realized that those hands didn't have the same effect on Nate as they did in the featherweight division. He was landing shots that usually put smaller fools down, but Nate's just built different. That fool came packed with a little more sand, you know? Conor's wearing down a little, and he realizes that he's gonna need to dig deep to go the distance. So he starts working on his cardio right in the middle of the fight. But his run is cut short when Nate puts him on the fence, which is ironic because Conor has a decision to make. Keep it standing up, even though his shots aren't effective, and Nate keeps coming forward, or go for the takedown, even though that's how we got exposed the last time.
I don't live to live, homie.
Or you could just get saved by the bell. If the fight still had no time limits, which should have never changed, this would be a much different video. But the reality is that the fight went on, and both of these men continued doing what they do best. McGregor ran, and Diaz pointed and laughed. And I continued trying to break it down. But you'll never guess what happened next. Young Jamie was there again. I'm over here trying to be all professional and take aerial spot at ESPN. And this fool's trying to torpedo. At least he wasn't making all those dumb faces this time. I think Joe Rogan told him trucha. And I think McGregor's coach told him the same thing. That fool wouldn't stop running. I thought he was trying to get elected for something. After a while, Nate got sick of it. And he slapped that fool. And it wasn't even really like fighting at this point. It was more like a moment of correction.
Why did you make me do this?
It was like if Conor was in trouble or something. Which he was. Nate almost finished him. But Conor got saved by the bell again. Conor gets saved by the bell more than Mario Lopez. For Nate, this fourth round was like all psychological. That fool came out like that one scene from The Shining. He was trying to make Conor freak out like that little kid. But Conor wasn't really that concerned until Nate put him against the fence and tried to take him down. Conor was determined to do everything that he possibly could to make sure that he wouldn't have to use anything that Dylan Dennis taught him. And he succeeded. And Nate was like, hey fool, if you don't want to go to the ground, then I'll just go by myself. But Nate's corner was over it already. They weren't focused on going to the ground anymore. They wanted to capitalize on McGregor's flat feet.
He's flat-footed, so look to land the two.
Have you ever noticed that fool has those Fred Flintstone feet? So Nate tried to stand with him, but he was still one step behind Conor. Literally, Conor kept running away from him. And with feet like that, he was able to cover more distance with each stride. He was trying to yabba dabba do what he thought was the right thing. And he continued to try to walk away from the fight. And then when he wasn't running, he was trying to hug him. It was like that one video where the cop is hugging that guy with a knife. He had the right to remain hugged. I myself have won a fight by hugging. I know what you're thinking. Grandmaster, that's anecdotal. I know what else you're thinking. This was a fight with Marilena, wasn't it? And I'm not gonna dignify that with a response. Having said that, as I have mentioned before, I'm a lover, not a fighter. But I'll fight for love in the same way that Conor fights for a paycheck. And if you're a Conor fanboy and you're mad that I said that, then you should realize that it's actually a compliment. Because if he's not just fighting for a paycheck, then what's his excuse for not being a good fighter anymore? Aside from no longer being a weight bully.
I was injured going into the fight.
Oh yeah, he added that one now too. That fool's just punching a time card and trying to get home in time for 2.5 men. He was looking at the clock more than me when I'm trying to make sure my video is at least 10 minutes long. And he paid for it when they caught him slipping with the Diaz Harai. But that's alright, because that fool had already been elected to win, having been predestined according to the plan of him who works out everything in conformity with the purpose of his will. Of course, I'm talking about Dana White. And even though I'm a semi-Pelagian, Dana White power is very real. Even Joe Rogan was all happy when he peeked at Bruce Buffer's cards and saw that they were giving it to Conor. But they couldn't phase Nate because he already knows how they get down.
I'm too real for this sport.
Don't forget to like, comment, and subscribe. You guys came through on the last video and it really made a difference. Thank you for watching Mexican Martial Arts. Appreciate it. Good looking out. Late.